Hey everyone, welcome to Fast Forward, the show where we sit down with founders, creatives, and big thinkers building what's next. Today's guest is Paul Jorg, co founder of Nalo Seed, a brand strategy and product development firm using AI to help founders and startups accelerate clarity, identity, and traction. We talk about what it means to scale authentically, how AI can remove creative bottlenecks, and what it takes to grow a brand from vision to velocity. Let's dive in. Hi, Paul. Welcome to the Fast Forward podcast. It's a series of honest conversations with founders, creatives, builders who are shaping what's next. It's focused on the intersection between product, story, and scale, and how emerging tools like AI are reshaping how we think, design, and grow. Each episode, I give listeners, fellow entrepreneurs, some motivation and some insights into what it takes to be a founder and how to build their own businesses. So that's the concept, and glad you could join us.
Cool. Thanks for having me. I'm kind of glad, excited to talk about this, and I'm just as what I'm living right now, and it's perfect.
You're based in Austin, correct?
Yes, we are based in Austin, and we are
And
helping people all over though. So marketing doesn't just stay here in Texas. We travel a lot, and so part of the business idea that I had was that I wanted to create the business around me and my family's life so that we can go different places, have clients be able to write off our business trips and vacation at the same time, kind of, take advantage of all of
smart
these
move.
benefits. So that's, kind of why marketing was a big push for us and being digital and, obviously with COVID pushing everything remote, we like really
Yeah.
grew with that, but we really enjoy the in-person things too. Like that's, like I love the freedom, but I'm finding it's more personal now as well
Yeah.
with AI kind of growing. It's like we have to have these face-to-face conversations
True.
and really like get in front of people.
Yeah. The further we get into that world, the more these things will become prevalent and important in all of our lives, even
Mhm.
in business. Because when the further you get away from it, the harder you become detached from society, it seems. And it's just an important thing to keep going, especially in business.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's gonna be constantly changing over the next few years.
Yes,
So,
it is.
I mean, I can barely keep up with some of the stuff that's going on today, and I'm a big believer that this is like an accelerated curve of technology, and, I'm just trying to climb this, like, I think of it as like the, American Ninja ladder where they have to, like, climb up that big swooping slope, right? And, you're just like we're kind of near that top where it's almost unreachable, but, like, you work at it, you can get there.
And you got to keep climbing.
You gotta keep
It's
climbing.
really the only option.
Yeah.
Otherwise, good luck catching up.
Mhm.
Great. Well, so let's talk about Nalo Seed. You've helped launch everything from idea stage startups to global wellness brands. What inspired Nalo Seed, and how has your vision for it evolved since the onset?
Yeah, so me and my wife kind of had this idea, and before we were even married, we kind of built the logo, we had built the branding idea, and we just kind of didn't really know how we wanted to execute. And fast forward into the future, we're kind of being forced to execute. And which in for us is like, there's just we needed the driver to get going. There's something that's got to be behind it. And so we saw how bad small businesses were impacted, how many people really want to start a business in this new economy, and we felt like the cost of things is coming down so much with AI, with information, that we can really find this middle place to meet people who are going from idea to deployment, or who kind of are somewhere in between, or who just want to continue to grow. So Nalo Seed comes from my wife's maiden name, Manalo, which is winner in Tagalog. And so we want to plant the
Nice.
winning seed for your business, and we want to make it so that you really have the foundational layers of success.
Nice. And what was the country she's from?
She's Filipino. She's from the
Filipino.
Philippines. Yeah, so
Nice.
her dad is came over when he was young, and now so she's first gen Filipino.
Very cool. I like the name and the concept behind it, and it actually works really well. And the you have the bumblebee,
I am
like
fully
the
on
honeycomb
brand.
style thing.
Yeah.
I like that. So brand strategy has changed. You talk about building systems that scale with the founder, not just for them. How has AI changed the way you approach brand strategy today?
I think it's become a really great thought partner in brand strategy because you have so many ideas out there and, it's hard to narrow them down and then also hard to see what you don't know.
Right.
Right. And so by asking the right questions, like, okay, what am I missing here? Really narrowing down target audiences, talking about your mission statement, asking it questions like, how do I make this better? Like, or is this impactful enough? Running your ideas through it. And just for me, at least, there's a lot of people I think are just kind of using it to be lazy. I'm using it to learn about
Yeah.
like more industries, right? Because we're like really open to helping anybody anywhere. And so if I need to switch my brain into like, okay, what's this industry really niche about? Like I am able to kind of move my brain that way very quickly and then drive conversations with, interesting points. But it still comes back to the human conversations that we have at the end of the day.
Right. So you're able to utilize it in a way that's not late. Like, I think you're right when you say people are thinking about it as like a shortcut. In my opinion, it seems that there are different ways to go about using AI. And if you can utilize it as more of a tool as opposed to just relying on it as something you don't want to do, then you're actually furthering your knowledge on topics in an expedited way that you can never have before.
Yeah. Yeah, and a big part of like this agent space that's kind of emerging that I
Yeah,
kind of take with this is that you make your agent and then you're supposed to kind of write an eval. How did it do? Is the information I want out of this right? And you kind of take that eval of your conversation about brand and be like, did I have the right conversation as well? Like, am I missing questions? Like, it's continually asking questions and being curious that if you do that, you can use AI in a very positive way. But yeah, you can also be lazy about it too.
right. And when you talk about agents, what can you give me an example of an agent you've attempted to use or are using now?
Yeah, so
Like what purpose?
there are some agents I'm using within like a CRM, like what is it? Go Open, Go High Level, and they've kind of been integrating like the chatbot agents in there. So I've been using those to help clients, but on the back end, I'm using Claude Code for help because it's basically like your assistant. And then I'm building agents within that are very specifics for tasks. I mean, Cursor has built agents within their IDE. I've been trying ChatGPT's agents. I'm really just trying every little bit that I can and figuring out who's kind of the best. And the approach that I'm finding is that you need all of them. You
Different
need to
uses.
like say, hey, I've got this idea. I'm bouncing it off you. Okay, now I'm going to take those ideas and bounce it off somebody else and kind of go around the circle. And it's now like you have, your whole team, but they're all just different companies that are providing you information. So and I don't know if the agents are really as far advanced as like people would like them to be.
Sure.
But if you understand how to use like the automation tools like N and
Yeah.
Zapier and all these things, and you kind of integrate those ideas together, they do really work very, very well. So,
Right, but it's too cumbersome to do manually. That's the purpose of automation. Yeah.
yes.
And that's how you can actually get feedback from all of the different types of agents in a efficient way. Otherwise, you'd be spending all your time. The whole point of an agent is to help you on time, right?
Mhm. Yeah, and it's for me, I built my own CRM on the back end for my business because I was like, okay, like what can I actually do myself? Like what is open source? How can I do something securely? How can I just manage my business? And then I've tried to create that agent on my own within my CRM. And it's a really fun challenge, right? Because every time I feel like I take a step in the direction, I listened to Anthropic's next speech and they just released what I did. So I'm like a half step there and then they do it just a little bit better. And I'm like, okay, I'm just, I'm chugging in the right direction
That's
for a
really
lot of
cool.
these things I'm doing. But then these companies just have so much money and so much resources that, I'm glad I see things how that's moving. It's kind of like reassuring for me. But then at the same time, I'm like, okay, like if they're keep like I can't keep up with their pace anymore. Like this is so using the tools they give us is great.
Right. And you're independently building what they're doing as a whole in
Mhm.
terms of updates and automations and whatever it may be.
Yeah, they're trying to bring in like other tools with their
Yeah.
LLM to make the LLM seem more capable. And
Gotcha.
so I'm doing those same things where I have the LLM that's on the back end of my system with the API. And then based on that, I have databases and different back end code to like say, hey, if I ask you to do something, here's kind of how I want it done. And it will like update my leads or update my projects or, be able to send an email to a client just from me having like a conversation with it. Double clicking on the globe on my Mac and just talking to my computer, right? Like that's, I don't have to type anymore.
It is pretty incredible what's going on right now, especially if you're willing to get as deep as you have. Did you have any experience with writing code prior to this?
So I used to work for Charter Communications.
Yeah,
And, like,
familiar.
in the back end of that, I was writing Python code to do
Nice.
my job so that, like, someone calls in, they're having a problem, I'm just gonna run a script to, do all the things I would normally do, and
Correct.
then take that and, yeah, here's the obvious, I have if this is out of scope, then, here we go, and then here's the next step that I already have planned out. So, I was doing it, in a very basic way, and now I can do it so much faster.
Yeah,
It's really incredible.
that's cool. Python is the one language I know as well. I studied data science in school, so it's a newer field, but it's pretty powerful to understand how to manipulate data and work through the visualizations and figure out how to best move the business in whatever way the data dictates. All analytics.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I find that a lot of founders kind of get stuck in their own heads at times, overwhelmed by clarity, direction, audience. What patterns do you see in your work, and how do you help founders break through that noise?
I think it's about consistency. So in my journey so far in the 6 months we've been really working, it was kind of a big boom in the beginning because I really started the business because I found a small client base. And so I had this work that I picked up right away, was able to help a bunch of people and was like, okay, now I kind of see where my next direction is. And so there was a little lull and those are kind of scary when you're like, okay, nothing's happening right
Yeah,
now. And you're throwing yourself out in the world and you're trying a few different things, you're A B testing, hey, does this idea sound good with people? How do I reposition myself in what's changing with AI? And then things just start to click. Right. You have this faith and you have this consistency of doing the things you need to do, and you will find your audience when you consistently push after that. And so my audience has really started to come in recently, which is really wonderful. And then, yeah, so I get stuck in my head when it's like, okay, I've got all of these things to do. How do I like somewhat prioritize that? And then that's where my agent comes in is just like, okay, I've built the system to say, hey, who is most important? Who haven't I touched last? Who do I need to make sure I'm going through? And the systems that I'm creating are helping me bring myself out of my head. But again, I'm a very analytical, high level thinking person. So that it's just kind of who I am and something I know that okay, just more action is better than thinking about it too much. Taking a walk, getting your ideas out of your head, and then just do. And then you'll just have good results when you just do.
right. And especially if you've utilized this team of agents as well, it's such a great someone like you. It's a great opportunity to just push that idea as far as you want it to, get the feedback you're looking for instantaneously, and then you can settle into your thoughts and take action.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's
the
cool.
roadblocks, like, you get to a point and you're just like, "Okay, let's just go breathe for a little bit
Yeah.
and find, this level back in reality," and when you kind of tune out some of the noise, like, the answers just kinda come to you. I don't know what it is, but, y we all have these answers inside of us, and it's just sometimes there's just too much noise to really hear them.
a lot of it's about timing, of course, and what's going on in your personal life as well can be a huge factor. So that's great that you've been able to kind of push out the noise, I guess, or at least let it speak at a time and get it all out, and then come back towards around to it, and you feel stable and sure of yourself when you do. Cool. So I know you're not just building brands; you've helped develop digital products and community platforms. How do you see the role of the product evolving as AI becomes more embedded in everything?
Think the capabilities that software are going to have is going to be continue to increase. And with that, I'm going to be able to do more for clients much faster. Right. I feel like I have from working in the internet company, I have a really good understanding of how the internet works and how people communicate across it. I was able to work with all sorts of businesses then, and now I'm able to see like, okay, how are you on premise using what you need to do to succeed? And so I, I I'm just looking for how AI is kind of changing that software development. I mean, there are showing videos of you creating the front end, but the back end is being created as you click the button, right? So
Mhm.
I think I think I just have to stay open to things. I think the UI is or UX, however we want to engage with this, is going to completely change. I mean, I don't think we're going to be stuck in text chatbots for forever. Like I don't think anyone wants to live there. I think people want to be more community focused anyways. And it's like, how do we have this AI like assisting us, but not really like having to tell it what to do all the time? Like, like I don't need to yell, "Hey Siri, do this." I mean, Siri is awful right now, but just there's a lot that's changing and you just have to be open to what's going to happen.
Right.
There's a lot we can't control, is basically where I'm going.
Right. So if you think it's not like AI chatbots or the text itself, and you're hoping that this doesn't, we're hoping that we don't have to always tell the AI exactly what we want it to do. Are you hoping for something more sentient, or where are you going with that?
You know what? I was hoping for more of like a personalized but private assistant, right? And so I really love where we're going with some of the open source software and training these big agents in a data center somewhere, but then taking that and being able to put it on your phone or your laptop and it just be yours, right? So when you're sitting there like with your computer open, it's listening to you talk, it's helping you, it's navigating your screens for you, whatever it may be doing, right? But it's just like it's an AI assistant that's just there for you.
It's private.
But it's private. But, I don't want everything that I'm saying to go out to the world. I mean, we're already give up so much of our privacy right now.
It's incredible.
I want a little bit more of that, and so, I mean, that's like the iPhone 17, I'm actually seeing people use LLMs privately on that new phone because it's now capable of some of
Hmm.
the technology that we're getting to. So I think we're at a really cool cross point where if Apple's doing it, Android's right behind, and I bet you the Samsung is probably operating at some sort of level close to that. And I think we're going to see more LLMs that are just yours on your phone.
Nice. And for more of the lay audience, can you break down what an LLM is?
Yeah, so an LLM is a large language model, and that is your ChatGPT, your Claude, your Gemini Pro, Quen. There's a lot of these that are out there, and they basically take what you give them and turn it into tokens, and then takes those tokens and tries to predict the next best token. So it is really a prediction model more than anything, and it is very good at learning from you. And the more you use one, the fact it learns from your habits and it learns what you like and all sorts of things. So they're definitely learning more than I think they are, but I don't think anyone is like fully on board with I can explain 100% certainty how this works. Even the people inside. There are certain parts that I think everyone can explain very well, but
Mhm.
this is something that is going above human level consciousness, and people are trying to push it that way as well. So, what are we going to get and what is it going to do? Those are really good questions. But it is the best partner to have because we have a assistant who is a PhD in basically every subject you could wish for. So if we have a PhD level assistant, you're going to be able to accomplish quite a bit as a business owner, right? You're going to have a bookkeeper, you're going to have your finance team, and there are companies making very specific products to
Sure.
all of these. But I think as we get closer and closer to what people are calling super intelligence, some of those products fall away because you just have one interface that you want to deal with. Right? No one wants to go
Right.
to 30 tools because, oh,
No.
that AI is good over here and this AI is good over here. It's coming all together. And we still have all these new NVIDIA chips that are going to come online, and we haven't seen what that brings. It's a really cool space, and there's a lot changing very quickly.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of all the streaming services we have. When can we combine them into one? Because right now it's such a hassle to watch
I
anything.
think streaming services went backwards because in like
Yeah.
2010, 2011, Netflix had just everything and was amazing. And then everything got sucked out into, the corporate world of all these different production companies. And I can't pay for 10 streaming services. Like, who are we kidding?
Totally agree. We have enough subscription services and everything else that we do, not also television just to watch a TV show or
Yeah.
sports for me. Sports is what gets me.
Yeah. I haven't really been watching very much TV lately.
Yeah, me
There's
either.
just too much going on, and
Yeah,
I am so engaged with where we're going.
that's awesome. Way more, how do you say, constructive to do what you're doing as opposed to watching a television show.
Well, I mean, you can go on YouTube and learn about these new robotic companies that are, making their own, like, they're trying to take a video version of an LLM so that these robots can learn like a kid and a toddler would how you walk, like, by just your environment. That's a whole nother segment of like where AI is going, because robotics are going to
Yeah.
be in our homes before people realize it. Yeah, so I don't know if I want something cooking in my kitchen yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's a different topic completely, but fascinating one for sure. Maybe we can have another podcast about that. It's very interesting and is inevitable. So, okay, looking ahead, what's one shift you think mission-led founders should prepare for in the next 12 months, whether it's AI, community, or how we tell stories? You've mentioned so many already, so
Yeah.
is there one
Well,
specifically?
what's the one shift that I'm looking at in the next 12 months? I'm really looking at the shift of what these AI agents are going to do. I think that like the LLMs have brought us really far, and
Mhm.
how the agent takes parameters and tools and does all of the things. I mean, they're just adding and adding and adding. And I think how those agents are being able to be integrated into your business, like if you are able to take one of those agents and get it in and get your systems around that, founders will have, that's like 10 employees that
Right,
you are hiring for very cheap, and the cost continues to go down. So I think, the realistically, the cost of information is going to zero as long as energy can prices can come down. And that is really a big shift, because I don't think people realize that you have access to infinite knowledge in the next year or two. Maybe it's a little bit longer than that, but I think that is like the big shift that people should be seeing is, okay, I can learn anything, I can do anything, and I have basically a PhD grad student who is an expert in whatever field or whatever specialty I need. And
mhm,
now I'm not hiring somebody, you know, and now what does that do for our economy? What does that do for people who want normal jobs? I mean, this is why I'm saying everyone needs to go kind of find their side hustle and their like what they kind of want to build off of, because you might be losing your job. I mean, we're going to get rid of all these truck drivers. We're going to get rid of all these
yep,
software developers. Like, I think find your idea that you're passionate about and like pursue that. Like that's what, people should be thinking, and founders specifically, like go behind your passion and just drive forward.
right,
Because I mean, all the greats have said it, I've failed 1,000 times, but I did it right once. And you know me because I failed 1,000 times and I finally got it. Michael
Exactly.
Jordan says it, he's like, I missed 20,000 shots, but I made the winning one. Right.
Yeah.
So it's all perspective. And, we can be very negative about things because that's where the media takes us. But honestly, there's a lot more positivity if you just kind of like say, hey, like, what's going to happen? Like, are we going to empower people? Probably. So,
That's how I see it as well. I think it's a really exciting time for entrepreneurs and potentially founders at this time. I think it is almost like you said, it's time to find a side hustle for a lot of people because you might feel secure in what you do, but you never know. And it's a great time for that because you have all the resources and knowledge out there. Like you said, a PhD sidekick essentially that allows you to become an expert on something in a fraction of the time you would normally take. So I think it's an exciting time for founders, and it's a time for people to dive in fully to whatever that their passion might be.
yeah. And like, if you have an idea and you want to go put it to work, I mean, go try these lovables and these V zeros and,
Lovable is amazing.
oh, it's so great. Like I whipped up something for my mom and she's like, "Wait, what? Like you did that in like less
Like took me
than 10
10
minutes?"
minutes.
Like from idea of what I want, running it against a couple LLMs, taking your idea, ask it questions, right? Like, how do I build my brand? How can I like build a website around this? And then you take that information, throw it in Lovable and go make a cup of coffee and come back and you're like, "Whoa, this is so cool." Like it made the pictures for me, like it
It's
makes a better
essentially functioning within 10 minutes, essentially.
you can have it completely functioning within an hour if you are willing
Yeah.
to get down and dirty and
They
learn
have
some
super base and all of the stuff you can take online and back end stuff. It's incredible. I use it quite often. I actually use it for like developing whatever I want, like for myself, for my mom, for business ideas, whatever. And it doesn't take. I'm not an expert, and I am, technically inclined, but I'm definitely not an expert. So
Yeah,
it's
like I
great.
said, my expertise was network engineering and project management. I don't really know coding, but I was able to learn coding because of these LLMs. And
Exactly.
I took a little bit of time off and I just put my head down and was like, okay, I'm going to learn how to code and, you know,
Yeah.
learn how to
Same.
use these AI agents to help me code because they can write, thousands of lines in minutes. And, it's nothing a human could do.
Right. Even if you were top of the mountain of developers,
Mhm.
you're nowhere. You just can't compare.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's an exciting time in the world, and it's also a time where you got to kind of take action. So try not to let the mountain of information become overwhelming. Maybe find a strategy like you and deploy agents and bounce your ideas off of all of them and get the feedback you're looking for. And you never know where it could take you.
Yeah, yeah, and just ask questions. Just continue to ask questions because you're never gonna know if you don't start asking. Like, is it possible? Everything's possible at this point. So,
That's exactly right. Well, it's been a pleasure, Paul. Thanks for
yeah.
talking.
All right, great talking.
Thanks, Paul.
Have a good one.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Stay tuned for more episodes from the Fast Forward podcast every Friday.